us to take a stand, show the world that we're a miracle. That's all I wanted from you. A little more attitude. Oh, well, how can I refuse? 'Cause you're the one that I choose. 'Cause all I wanted from you was for our love to come through. There's nothing else I can do, but you're the one that I choose. That's all I wanted from you. A little more attitude. Oh, well, how can I refuse? 'Cause you're the one that I choose. 'Cause all I wanted from you was for our love to come through. There's nothing else I can do, but you're the one that I choose.
Welcome to Rokk Around the Clock, Google's Stadia news and gameplay live at the same time every day, Monday to Friday. Every day we check out the latest Stadia news across the internet live, closing with Stadia gameplay and chat with your host Rokk and occasional guests. But first, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on the latest Stadia news. If you'd like to support my content... Did you spot the obvious error? It's not my fault. I've got to tell you, I've got some heartbreaking news. Well, it was for me when it happened. Hello, Vet. How are you, my friend? I hope you guys can hear me okay. You just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to get the music up. I've raced home. I've been out and about doing family things in the sunshine. It's been absolutely glorious. Hang on a second. There we go. Hello, Ray. Yeah, so this is what happened. When was it? Saturday? Friday? I've lost all track of time. I basically moved all of my Rokk Show stuff from a Google Drive to an Asus backup drive and deleted it all from the old one. And then when I got over to the Asus one, I realized, like an idiot, that I forget that Google Sheets and Docs and stuff don't work like files. They're just URLs to data registrations. And I deleted the whole lot, so I lost it all. And so I've had to rebuild everything. And that's the first time I've seen the video and didn't realise it was an old one. So it was a little bit of nostalgia. There you go. Look back in the old Stadia days. Do you remember back in the Stadia days? And it would be welcome to Stadia Rocks. Oh, bless. How are you guys? I hope you've had a good weekend. It's Monday. We start again, but it's the 1st of May, which means for me, I always think of May as the summer, because it sort of just blends off in towards, the sun comes out and it gets nice and it blends and it's lovely and I'm happier. So for me, it's kind of the summer. Anyway, a little bit late today. Apologies for that. I know some of you like to watch me over lunch and breakfast and stuff, but I've been out. I genuinely got in the door, grabbed my fruity squash, raced into the studio, fired it all up, and here I am. So you got to forgive me the odd mistake. It's not doing too bad. How are you, Vet? Great to see you. Great to see Ray. I watch Rokk while drinking a spot of tea, says Walt Vetney. Bless you. What tea do you like? Because do you have the English breakfast, which is quite a big thing apparently, or do you have Earl Grey? Earl Grey tea, Earl Grey hot. What else could you have? Darjeeling? I'm actually not a tea drinker myself. I'm not a massive fan. I do like an Earl Grey, very, very occasionally, but I'm much more of a coffee drinker. I drink that stuff in the bucket. But it's worse than that because, firstly, for all you purists, I don't do it the proper way, with the beans and the machinery and all that stuff. Don't do any of that. I do it sticks with the Earl Grey. I do it with Nescafe Gold, which is, it's freeze dried and I'm sure it's full of chemicals and everything. And I put a tablespoonful of that, not a teaspoon, a tablespoon, 2 teaspoons of that into a cup and augment it with milk powder. Coffee Mate is the brand. I don't know if they have that outside the UK, but that's what I have. I have a real proper chemical brew with 1 Canderel sweetener. Yes, it's literally. And then I pour myself one of those, and it's quite strong, although it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't affect me anymore, really. And then I may follow up with another one a few minutes later. That's kind of how I am. That's how I roll with the coffee. And Vet says, but I want to take it up a notch. I'm going to turn off automatic because I realise at the weekend I'm getting very lazy. But I want to take it up a notch. I take Earl Grey with a spot of whiskey. That's not up a notch. That's very much down a notch, mate. You don't want to be doing that. Anyway, listen. I hope you guys had a lovely weekend. It was all right. I'm just trying to think what happened. For me, not a lot. Gaming. Oh yes, I finished Resident Evil 4. Lovely. I love that game. That's me now. I've all but finished. I think I've only got the remnants of 2 left to finish off. And then I'll have done 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. I don't know what happened to 5, 6, and 1. But that's what I'll have done. Game on with Tony. Rock on. How are you, buddy? Great to see you. Long time no see. I hope you're keeping well. Cowboy King of Entertainment. Rokk Show. What's going on, brother? I went out to eat 3 different times this week, and I beat Callisto. I know I did as well. And the thing is, Anne, it's quite funny actually. A little bit of a confessional here. Rosary beat. I had not finished Callisto. I'd got to the final boss. You know exactly the one that runs around the table at you. And I saw that you beat it. I thought, I wonder how close to the end I am. I've said it before, when I get to a boss, when I get to an end of level boss, and I've tried 4 or 5 or a dozen times, I just give up. And I thought, no, I will go back to it, but I've got other games to play. So what I did was I watched your video, and I got to the end of your boss fight, and I realised that is it. It's like a couple of cutscenes and it's the end of the game. I thought, I don't believe it. So literally, having seen you, I fired it up. Took about another 3 or 4 attempts at the boss. Killed him. I was like, yes, thank you, cowboy. And finished the game off. It's a great game, isn't it? I'm so pleased I watched your video. It gave me the incentive to finish it off. So I was so pleased with that. Well done, my friend. Thank you for that. But it's a tough little game, isn't it? I loved it. Definitely looking forward, as you know, Ant. It definitely left the ending open for a sequel. So looking forward to that. Absolutely. Grateful for a new week, Rockstar. That's a lovely way to look at it, Tony. It's my brother's called Tony, by the way. Yeah. And it's a good way to look at it because, of course, we should be grateful for a new week. There's so many people that don't make it this far, aren't there? Who, don't want to put a downer on it's Monday, but they get to Friday. Something happens over the weekend. They never get to see Monday. We should be grateful. We should be eternally grateful for another day that turns. But Rock, the end music got my video blocked. Oh, yeah, well, it was a proper song, wasn't it? Damn heck. But you could go in and mute it, surely. Did it literally block it? Just go in and mute it or chop it. I noticed the other day in YouTube Studio, and I don't know if this is a new feature, but when I've been in the past to edit out a section, I thought I could only trim the ends, but now you could do multiple slices. So you can have take a piece out there that somebody swore and take a piece out here because there was a long pause. I mean, it takes forever to process. I really, really wish YouTube would give creators more editing controls post putting the video live. Because, of course, a lot of the time, like your stream, it's live in the first place. So it's not like we can edit it and then realise we've messed up. And also, once you post it, you can't replace it, as you know. Everybody knows this. But you get next to no post-publishing editing tools, and the ones that you do are very, very basic. And when you press process, do it, get it done, you literally wait hours and hours and hours for it to get done. I'd like to see them make a change there. I think partly the reason they don't like doing it is because they're worried that you might put up a video that kind of sits nicely in their rules and regulations and get it passed and then sneak in and change it and put stuff in. But, that's Let's have some trust with the people making you money, YouTube. Ant says, they won't let me do anything because it's over 5 minutes. I'm going to see if I can do it on my PC. Yeah, download it, edit it, put the other one on private and shove it up again. I've done that in the past. Whack it back up again. Funnily enough, though, I decided not to bother streaming. Well, actually, you did Callisto. I was thinking of Resident Evil, sorry. But I decided not to stream Resident Evil 4 because the Resident Evil videos that I did just didn't get a huge amount of views. I don't think people like my game streams, Ant. Oh, dear. My immediate family calls me Tony. Ah, there you go. Yeah, it's funny. You know, my brother is Anthony without the H. So we've always called him Tony. But my father-in-law was Anthony with the H, and therefore he was known as Ant. So there was both in my life, both very important people in my life. Yeah, well, I hope you get that sorted, mate, because there's nothing more annoying than that, is there? See, I got to watch it though. So how did that happen? Because I watched it. I didn't watch the live stream. I watched it afterwards. How did that happen? I'm sure I watched it the next day as well. So when did they block it? That's weird. I mean, they normally... Oh, mind you, I guess it depends on whether or not the third party kicked in and told you off. Yeah, that's possible, isn't it? Raymond, are you watching or are you in Discord? I've been told you have it on. You don't actually watch it, and then you pop in and then you come back. Cheeky monkey. I'm sure that's not the case, by the way. I watched Raymond this morning doing a bit of Dead Island 2. Do you know there's a funny thing there as well, actually, Ray? So I was watching you in Dead Island, and I was thinking, oh yeah, Ray's ahead of me. Brilliant. And then later, just before we actually went out the door, I just fired it up because you got me all in the mood. And I was in exactly the same place as when you'd started your stream. So we're kind of in the same area. And then I've gone on to Beverly Hills and all that stuff. You know what it's all about. Christian, how are you? Oh, look, there's a lovely new picture of Christian. Oh, that's a gorgeous photo. Look, and it makes me feel happy. It's summery. And I was saying at the top of the show, this is the thing I love about May. To me, it heralds in the summer. And I know it's still technically, I think it is now British summertime, isn't it? In the UK at least. But, technically people tend to say the summer's June onwards, don't they? But I always think of it being May. That's what I love. Has Ray defeated the dancing bride? Well, he must have done, because I did. Took a while. And yes, not so much a dancing bride, was it? It was quite a weird shaped creature. I mean, even when it was alive, it must have looked quite weird. Yes. So it's blocked in certain countries, but it's blocked from being monetized. Okay. Yeah, I get that. I was saying the other day, Anne, on this show, on a Thursday, I get a copyright notice without fail every Thursday for the same intro music that I play on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. I don't, and all the other days but Thursday. I have no idea why on a Thursday the outfit that wrote that piece of music decides to slap a copyright notice on me every Thursday without fail, but the other days they don't mind. How weird is that? So that's why I introduced a replacement for it. But when I watched it back the other day, I thought, nah, it's not up to my usual standards. That's why I reverted today. But I am going to work on something and change that. I just haven't had the time. You know how it goes. Thank you, says Christian. It's a senior picture for spring 2014 before I graduated in 2015. Well, it's gorgeous. And I hope that your life has been sunny ever since. Phipps has joined Team Rock. Well, thank you, Phipps. Oh, bless you, my friend. How sweet. Well, you know what, Phipps? I need to get in and modify the wheel. We'll be doing that in a second because it's members today. I have changed the wheel. There's been a drop because if you remember, we had, cripes, quite a few new members who were gifted And as is usually the case, it gets to the end of a month of their gifted membership and they don't renew it. What do you do? So we lost a few. So I've changed it. So that's all good. But thank you for that, Phipps. I much appreciate it, my friend. And I will just, as we speak, I am going to actually edit the wheel, make sure that you are in the list. Because that's kind of how I like to get fairness into the thing. There it is. And interact. And unhide. Phipps is back. Thank you very much, Phipps. There you go. Got you in the wheel, my friend. Save it. Hope you guys saw my stream on Saturday with Crystal. Crystal are one of our newer members and big fan of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So we did a little stream together and it was actually good fun. I actually really enjoyed it and I think people liked it, which is always nice. Oh yes, that's right. I wanted to just... Let me see. Let me open this one as well. Here we are. I'm going to add you here as well, Phipps. So you're now in the save. There we go. Perfect. You are now on the credits as well. So there you go. All done. Excellent. Yeah, it was a lovely little stream. And Phipps celebrated being on Team Rokk for a month. Woohoo! Brilliant stuff. Well, maybe you were already in there, in which case you're now in there twice. But thank you for renewing. It means a huge amount to me and much appreciated. Christian says, not really been. There's been a lot of hills and valleys of life, lots of hills and valleys in life. We've all had those, haven't we? We all continue to get those, let's be honest. And we have to be thankful for those days when the sun just shines and the birds whistle. And we don't have a care in the world. They're few and far between, but they are the days that we all absolutely long for, aren't they? I know I certainly do. So, yep, did that. Got those games finished. So you guys call it beat in the States. I beat that game. I say completed because not all games are adversarial. You could argue Callisto was a definite beat. I mean, it's out to get you from the first second of the game. But something else like, let's say, Animal Crossing, it never ends. But let's assume it did. Well, that's right. It's never even attempts to harm you. So that for me is completing the game. You see. So I tend to prefer the term complete rather than beat. But I think the term beat, which is actually an American term, I don't tend to hear it that often outside of the States. I think it goes back to the fact that a lot of those early kind of console games were very much that sort of adversarial thing, weren't they? I wasn't able to be there. Went and did outreach with our sister church in northern Colorado. Fantastic. Oh, Colorado is a place I'd love to visit. Those huge skies and wide open plains. They're probably still there. Fantastic. Well, I hope you had a fantastic weekend nonetheless, Christian. Sounds like a gorgeous weekend. And Smart Arcade. Smart Arcade, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Rokk. How are you doing? Well, I'm doing okay. How are you doing? I raced. I literally. So we went to. You may have seen. I put a little picture up on Twitter. And, have they? Military have taken over. Oh, rats. Yes. Well, there you go, I suppose. Happy Bank Holiday! How are you, Phoenix? Have you had a nice one, my friend? What have you been up to today? Have you managed to get out and enjoy the sunshine? I don't know if it had sunshine. I think well, it's gorgeous here now, but I've been out Bournemouth way, Phoenix. You know where I'm talking about, and it was quite nice. I took my Switch. I thought, this is good. So I drove out. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. So I drove out and then I said, Mrs. Rokk, you can drive back and I shall sit in the back because we're a car full of folk. And I shall play on my Switch. Well, about 2 minutes into playing on my Switch, I fell asleep. And when I woke up, we were just about home. So I never did get my Switch time in. There's a second live stream from you on YouTube. Is there? Saying Rokk Show starting. Oh, well, thank you for that. Let's have a little peep. Something weird did happen, actually. So I'll make sure that ends. Just go into content. Thank you for spotting that, my friend. OBS does cause me some distant... Oh, yes, there it is. Some consternations from time to time. Right, let me... For now, I shall make it private. And then I shall delete it. Yes, look at that. It was going to come on the 6th of January. I'll actually delete that one as well. Thank you for spotting that, my friend. That has now gone, and we are still alive, which is all good. And then on Saturday night, continuing the family gaming theme, young Hezekiah and Josiah played some Star Wars Battlefield, and that was lovely. And they were talking about wanting to play Star Wars Jedi Survivor, but not being in a place at the moment where they could really just go out and buy it. And I did feel sorry for him. Now, having actually just given somebody a copy on Xbox, was it the day before? I forget now. Friday, I thought, what the heck? He goes on my channel and does that show at no recompense. So I'm going to treat. So I bought him a copy of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and it's the sweetest moment. You should go back and watch the video. It's towards the end. He was completely unaware, and I sent him a message live saying, because he was saying how in the stream he always seems to know when he's going to win something. He just won a gaming chair, a $500 gaming chair, and he'd also recently won an PS5. So he said, but I always kind of feel it's going to happen. So I bought him the game and sent him the code, and then I said, how are you feeling right now about winning anything? Check your DMs. And he laughed. He thought I was joking, and he went, it's brilliant to watch. He's in tears. Really lovely. I mean, it wasn't don't get me wrong, it's not like I bought him a house or anything, but it was something that he really, really wanted, and didn't think he was going to get to play it for a while. So it was really sweet. It was lovely to see his reaction. I am Phoenix, planning ahead. I don't know where it comes from. It's weird that it should come up. Within OBS, I probably have, because you can create streams from within OBS. You can either create one, or you can find one that you've already scheduled, and that's what I always do. But what I probably did was accidentally hit the create one and then fired it up, and it was all probably already set for the 6th of January or something. So yeah, that was all good. Yeah, they were super excited, weren't they? Since then, he's discovered just how buggy the game is, which I feel a bit but there's a massive patch on the way. They'll be happy, I know. It'll work itself out. And at least they got to have a look at it. Lots of gardening today. And, of course, those 2 hunky huskies, which no doubt you've had to take out for a jaunt, because huskies wait for no man, do they not? I'm terrible when we go out, like today, and I see little puppies and dogs everywhere. I just want to cuddle them. I just want them to be mine. I'm not allowed a dog. Am I excited for Redfall tomorrow? I don't know about excited, but I've got it preloaded. And I think it goes live at 1 a.m. my time. Now, I won't be up for that, but I might jump on first thing in the morning. It's back to work day tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. I have a feeling it's going to get a lot of bad press, and I think it's a bit of honor hiding for nothing, because right now console wars are massively polarized. All around the whole ABK thing, and the fact that Xbox are doing quite well, and it's horrible to watch. It's tribalism and it's pathetic. But, a game comes along that is an exclusive to Xbox, it's going to get the ire of a bunch of gamers. It's bound to happen. So, even if it's only marginally, we know already there's been the whole thing over 60-30 frames and all that stuff. It's going to get worse. When the NDA for the game is set to launch time, you know it's going to be a bad game. And that's the thing as well. I think that there are going to be issues. I mean, we've just recently, there's been and let's face it, PlayStation are no strangers to this either. I can't think which it was, Last of Us Part 1 recently. I mean, that launched, and it was quite clearly not ready for launch. It's, I don't know. I mean, Gem's in the business. My guess is that what we have is the industry trying to catch up with COVID and how it decimated the kind of time scales and slowed delivery down. And you look at Ubisoft as an example, they've not released a major title now for some time. And there was a time when there would be one nearly every quarter. And they were able to go out with Ubisoft Plus fully confident in the knowledge that you and I would look at it and go, 4 games a year? That's a $240, if we were to buy each of those games, it's only going to cost us $100 and something. I'm in for that. But then nothing's come out. So people have gone, I'm out for this. and so I suspect that there are a lot of games that are being pushed out where they've concentrated or focused on a specific platform. In the case of The Last of Us, obviously it originally came out for console. And they're just not putting in the same kind of QA that they have done, or they've offloaded it to a third party. There are lots of third-party outfits that have cropped up in recent years that will take an original game and port it. And some of them have done a great job, like the guys that did the Stadia port for Cyberpunk. I forget the name now. It was a Polish outfit. They did a fantastic job. In fact, better than the others, better than that came out on the PlayStation. But, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing this is what's happening. So they're desperate to get back on the regular schedule of getting the games out. And of course, they're not quite fully baked. So we get issues. But yeah, Redfall, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to judge it. I think half the problem is most of the people I know don't complete games. They play them. They're like magpies. They're jackdaws. They'll collect them. They'll kick it about the road a bit, get the juice out of the thing, and then fly on to the next. And in truth, I personally believe, these games are developed as an entire experience, beginning to end. And if it has a story, particularly, some games like flipping heck, Tucker, I've forgotten it. One of my favourite games of all time as well. Death Stranding. You've got to go hours into that game before it really, really gets under your skin. And then it takes you on a journey to the end, which is hugely emotional and has a massive impact and easily forges itself into your kind of top 10 list of games if you've got that far. Most people never do. They go an hour and go, it's a delivery, it's Uberoo, innit? Yeah. It's a shame, it really is, because I just think of these guys that have spent the best part of half a decade or longer putting their hearts and souls into developing a piece of artwork, crafting an amazing story and spending countless hours doing voice acting and all the design and everything. Only they know, and you can see it yourself, guys, because if you play a game and it goes major achievement on Xbox, only 3% of people have got here, and you think, how soul-destroying is it to know that 97% of the people that have played this game have never got this far? And typically I tend to find that quite early on in a game. So it is a shame. But I personally, if I like a game, I like to complete a game. And that's one of the reasons I play them all on the simplest mode. That and the fact that I've found as I've got older, I just can't be bothered with challenging games. So, I don't tend to. I tend to play it on the simplest because I want to get the entire experience. And it will still take time. I'm trying to think. I think Resident Evil 4 took me about 16 hours. Callisto something similar. Now I know Ant's final part of his streaming for Callisto was 7 hours. 7 hours, Ant, wasn't it? I think that's, again, you probably did it in about 15, 16 hours. Am I correct? Somewhere around there? We are, mate. Oh, well, you know that. We're always saying it, aren't we? When it comes to games and stuff. Once you get on, I just think if you don't complete, if you don't put the effort in on a game, then, you know, it's harder if you are a streamer, if you're a content creator, and you just don't have time, and your channel is all about showing new games and new experiences, because not everybody wants to play an entire game for a few weeks or a week or what have you on their channel. It's just the way it is, isn't it? So on that basis, it's understandable. And also, like Ray, for example. So Ray is, you know, he has quite a full schedule in a week. If he's not streaming on his own channel, he's on my shows and he's on other people's shows. And quite honestly, it's probably quite hard to just say I'm going to spend some time playing this game myself when you've got, you know, you're going to get to a point where I can't be bothered anymore. So that's fair enough. But your average, I'm talking about average gamers, not content creators. Average gamers don't complete games. They just don't. Some not only complete them, but they go on to play them again half a dozen times at setting different challenges to themselves, like only going through with one kind of weapon or playing it on the mega tough level. I mean, how off to those guys? Because I couldn't do that. But Cloudbusters, date stamps wrong. On what, mate? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, boy? The thing is, I play with my wife. Well, that's a good thing. It's what keeps a marriage happy, mate. And sometimes she may walk down a hallway and turn around and not realise she's walked in the same way she started. So that adds more time to my gameplay. I could talk to you about the scientific reason for that, but I will probably get flamed, and I'm not going down the Andrew Tate route. That ain't happening. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Rouster, I'm good. Better now that I've eaten some food. Good on you, my friend. Yeah, I had Under the Clock. Oh yes, you're right. Thank you for spotting that. I was saying at the start of the show, my friend, there's a reason for this. And it's a reason why, if you do watch the beginning of the show, you'll see that I'll turn it off. What the heck? You'll see that not only have we got issues like this, but the intro video was my old Stadia one. It's because I accidentally deleted all of my Rokk Show content. I actually was in the process of backing it up. I did back it up, but what I didn't back up were the documents, things like the script for that, for example. So that's frozen. That's why that hasn't updated. Well spotted. I hadn't spotted it. So that was a frozen thing there. It can't update because the original script that I wrote ain't there anymore. And I had to rebuild the whole show, which is why we've got all these issues. But it'll be fixed. But well spotted. Well spotted. Even that logo is too far over for my liking. Get over there, mate. There you go. You can sit there. Neil J. I do that. Play the same game over and over again with different challenges. There you go. I feel comfortable in the world, so it's like comfort food. Yeah, and also if you really enjoy the game, like I really enjoyed Resident Evil 4. That's, you know, those kinds of games I love. That's got a lot of the ingredients in it. So it's kind of got a cinematic feel. You know, you do feel like with the quality of the graphics, you're kind of in the game. You know, you're in the world. Plus it's got the whole loot and progression stuff, which I love as well. So yeah, that is a game that I will happily play. And of course, you know, like a lot of you, I played, I don't know, getting on for 5,000 hours of Destiny, which is the epitome of rinse and repeat. It's designed to be a grind. And I loved it for that. Do you know what, though? Since the recent update, you know, the new season, which I played and completed, I haven't wanted to go back to it. I don't know what it is. I've genuinely sat there and thought I should fire Destiny up, but I can't be bothered. And I think partly I don't like the new world, the Sky thing. To me, they've kind of gone for some bizarre Miami Vice 1980s pastiche thing with colours that it's not working for me, to be honest. Miss Felix, I bought a small Pokemon binder for all my bear-type Pokemon cards. Did you? What, this weekend? That's brilliant. Phoenix said, Gem, brilliant. I've just sorted them all and put them by which set they are, then numbered order. Is this a game we're talking about, or literal physical cards? Because I don't know. Neil said, I'm enjoying the cinematics of Cyberpunk so much. I know I'll run. Yeah, and the great thing about Cyberpunk is you can, because you can obviously choose different character types, can't you? So you can get a slightly different experience. And if you even get a different experience with some of the story, if you go in as a male character versus a female character. So I started on Stadia, Cyberpunk on Stadia, with a female character, but I got right to the end on Stadia, but I never completed it. Same issue as always. Tough kind of end of level that I couldn't be bothered with over time. But then I bought it again for PC. Talking of which, I must remember, we have a draw. Well, not on this show, but I have a draw, which I think is probably due now, for somebody to win Cyberpunk and a month's worth of GFN Ultimate. I'm sure it's over now. Which of course comes now with the path tracing update, the DLC. So, yep, I'll do that after the show. See who's won that one. Awesome. And then in 12 days' time, it's Tears of the Kingdom. Legend of Zelda on Switch, giving that one away. I've got to actually look for what the next big giveaways are going to be. I should keep them rolling, really. The problem is, and I've had this happen a couple of times now, I decide that I'm going to go with a specific game, only to find that it slips. We put it back 6 months. Arr. I'm trying to think if that happened with Jedi. It certainly happened with something. Tears of the Kingdom launched on the seas today. It's playable on a Switch emulator. Did it? It probably did. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Physical Pokemon cards. I loved it. The only time I've ever played Pokemon and loved it was that game that came out. I can't even remember what it was called. Do you know when you had it on your phone and you were in the real world? It was like augmented reality, and you'd be walking along, and then on the map it would say there was a purple dotted Pinky Ponk or whatever, and you go up and capture it. And my daughter and I don't even know when it was out, but she was a lot younger. It's before she went to uni and stuff. Pokemon Go, thank you. And we went everywhere doing that game. Long walks along the beach, and I just remember thinking to myself, what a great way to exercise. I really hoped for a lot more of that, but I know they did a few. The actual developers did a few more branded ones, or tried to, different brands, IP. But I loved that. Oh, it's such a good... Philip, how are you? How are you? You did the same. Exactly. I loved it. Literally walking along the beach. And I thought, what was really nice was we found, it was when it was at its, just went massive, didn't it? And we were just kind of walking along, and you'd see other people doing the same thing. And you'd say, hey, did you know there's a yellow spotted Pinky Ponk over there? They go, yeah, we just caught it. And it was like lovely. It was like everybody was doing this thing. Huge. Anybody here streaming Tears of the Kingdom? I haven't bought it. The reason being, Rouster, I want to finish Breath of the Wild first, and I am a long way from there because I've hardly played it at all. As you know, on my Switch, I bought Breath, I bought Animal Crossing, and Disney Dreamlight Valley. And Mario Kart 8, but I'm not into racing. I bought it for my daughter, and wish I hadn't bothered, to be honest. But when we go away, I'm taking the Switch. I'll have 9 hours in both directions, which is almost a full day. Not at the same, beginning and end. So lots of Breath of the Wild time. You never know. I might get through it. I don't know. Give it a go. I think VR gone eventually. They're going to eventually get to the point where they will have treadmills for a lot of games. I'd love that to be the case. I know, Apple are bringing, there's talk of at the next developers conference, which I think is usually June, usually early first couple of weeks of June. There has been talk that they're going to finally reveal this AR, VR hybrid thing they've been working on. But I don't know. Apple, for me, innovation died at Apple with Steve Jobs. Oh, young Steve was the one that was pushing all the new ideas and the new tech. And when you look at what's happened with Apple since the demise of Steve, which was when, 2013, something like that. It's a while back now. It just feels like, I know they'd say, well, no, we brought the watch out and stuff. But most of what is out there today under the Apple brand was out with Steve Jobs, albeit it's in greater incarnations and they've developed their own chips and stuff, and all that's really good. But they've not released, the iPhone 2007 changed the world. It literally did. You think about people like, Facebook was around, but a lot of these guys, given the ability to develop apps, look at Activision Blizzard King. King only exists because of the iPhone, only exists because of smartphones. And he was a genius. He was also a bully, but he was a genius at kind of having an idea and then just getting people to get on with it. I'm sure he was a sociopath, but that just hasn't happened. Apple has just become much more of a branding machine, and they talk about wanting to move towards a services-only catalog away from hardware. And then what do they bring out? Apple TV, which, it's okay. There's a couple of decent things on there, but in the main, it's not got a lot going on, has it? Having said that, Apple Arcade, I believe I'm right in saying, is one of the most successful gaming platforms on the planet, and yet most of us probably never use it, interestingly enough. Apparently, says Miss Phoenix Rouster, apparently one of the Pokemon Rokk was collecting on the beach. I did. Well, they were everywhere on the map, weren't they? You didn't, I don't remember one being in the sea. I don't think I ever had to swim out to get one. But they were along. In fact, I can be very, very specific, Sam, because you'll know exactly when I tell you that it was walking along the seashore at Dawlish Warren. I can be very, very specific. Coming up to the train bridge. I remember it well. Hello, Dorrigan. How are you, my friend? Good to see you, dude. No, I was late. I didn't start until 5:30 today, 9:30, 12:30. Because I was out and about on the road having a gay old time, as they used to say on the Flintstones. I agree, they're basically doing the same and playing it safe. You can't knock the fact that they are a $1 trillion company and incredibly successful. They smash it all over the place. Although I was reading a fascinating article earlier which was talking about how Microsoft, Alphabet, which of course owns Google, and Meta, as was Facebook, have just brought out their quarterly accounts, and they have absolutely smashed it. They are showing huge increases in profit, mostly down to AI. And this massive interest in artificial intelligence. Of course, Google has got Bard. I always get it wrong. I think it's Bard. Let me just hover over there, Bard. And Microsoft, at least in the short term, own Chat GPT or OpenAI, but the contract stipulates that they possess 75%. I believe this is how it works. They possess 75% of the stock until the original debt is repaid, which they're getting to a point as a business where they could pay that back in no time. I got told off for doing this, by the way. Crystal said, are you trying to send us a message when you do this? I said, well, I rarely do it with that finger. And it's because I get an itchy nose. I can't help it. You get me warts and all, guys. But yeah, doing amazingly well on the back of AI. But then you kind of think to yourself, what a shame that in one breath they offload thousands of staff and kill off such embryonic, potentially successful offshoots like Stadia, to then go on to show huge profits. And it's the world of corporate world. It's corporate world, isn't it? At the end of the day, corporates they're unemotional. They are the epitome. A business, a company, a corporate business is the epitome of a sociopathic element. I mean, it has no emotion. It can't have emotion. Even when they say they're doing stuff, they've put money to charity and they're doing corporate social responsibility, all of that is pure PR. They don't care because they can't care. They don't exist. A company is a robot. It has one objective: to make money for shareholders. That's it. It can't care. It doesn't care. And that's one of the problems. How do you inject empathy into capitalism? Because the ultimate nature of capitalism is dog eat dog and win uber all, destroy everything. And that's the thing that keeps me up at night, I have to be honest. Being a company owner, you see, at my level, you can be empathetic because when you've got a business like me and I'm an owner manager, your business will always be a reflection of you as an individual. It's bound to be. It's when you get to a level where even a chief exec, if you take Tim over at Apple, for example, he was the first billionaire to never have started the company, interestingly. I mean, I'm sure there's others now, but he was the first one. So, when you've got a company like the one that Steve Jobs owned, then the company will be a reflection of that individual. It goes without saying. Everybody knows it. When you come to sell your business, the first thing that happens in due diligence is how much of this business is a reflection of the owner and what happens when he gets paid off, which is why they have things called golden handcuffs, where you're locked in to the company for a number of years, often tied to making profits, because they fear the fact that you will disappear and the business itself will disappear with you. And it happens a lot. But when you've got a company like Apple today, where the chief executive didn't start the business, then it's very much a sociopathic organization. It has no emotion. It's all about the money. And that's what you see if you look around the world in big tech right now. You look at Alphabet, it's no longer run by Larry Page and Sergey. Or you look at Microsoft, it's no longer run by Bill Gates and the other fella who was a sociopath. So, these companies, as the original owners hand off their interest, go, there you go, you can run it now. Whatever emotion was in the business, whatever reflection of the original owners was reflected in the company, it goes away. You take on your management team with one goal, and that is to exercise shareholder value. And they don't care how they do that. They just have to make it successful. So, I think that's a fear. And then again, you look at people like Elon Musk, who is undoubtedly, he exhibits sociopathic tendencies. He's the epitome of a sociopath, a literal corporate sociopath who knows what emotion is, knows how to exhibit it, but doesn't feel it. And has no compulsion about doing things to people or making his business go in certain directions that are going to upset people because he doesn't feel it. And we see that in politics a lot at the moment as well. So anyway, there you go. Interesting little diversion for a Monday. Always makes me chuckle because the chat shuts up. It's like, Rokk, what are you going on about, mate? Some good Pokemon on the Dawlish Coastal Path, actually. Walked there many a time. I'm telling you, I honestly, Phoenix, does it still work, Pokemon Go? If I installed it now, would I still be able to go out and capture yellow-spotted Pinky Ponks and all those things? I could quite do that. It's a good way to exercise, isn't it? And boy, do I need exercise. He has a meeting and he's going to have a good day as well. You take care, my friend. We'll be polishing up soon. I'm going to go and get the wheel underway in a second. I like to point at Disney. They had so many evil actions throughout the company. Well, it's interesting with Disney, isn't it? Because there's a certain level of evidence that says that Walt himself, had his moments, shall we say. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, McDonald's for me is the classic, I mean, they couldn't be more blatant. And Disney, and I'll outline what I mean by that in a second, but Disney follow a similar model. McDonald's model has always been give lost leaders to families, to children. So they give away toys and books and stuff, and suppress the cost of food for kids. The reason being is that it becomes cheap enough for families to take a family to McDonald's, and they're going to get this toy or book or whatever, which saves a bit of money. And the kids come away thinking, oh my God, this is fantastic. I actually get to sit down with my parents. They're not just sat there looking at their phones all day long and all night long, as happens these days. They actually are sat there and we're getting some family time and I get a plaything. Oh, how I love McDonald's. And then you go to McDonald's now, since they were introduced in the UK, big time, which they were not around when I was a kid. You would have found one or two in some of the large urban areas, but they were certainly not across the UK. So I've seen this happen in my lifetime. So when I go to an out-of-town McDonald's now, all I see are 18, 19, 20, 25-year-olds who are the McDonald's kids. And they can't get enough of it now. They grew up being taken to McDonald's because it was a cheap option and the kids were entertained and they were given a toy. And they associate it with happiness and good times. It's literally the drug dealer's model. And Disney does the same thing. Think about it. So Disney wraps up good times and family times with making money, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's how capitalism works. I mean, that's how we, it's how we exist, because we're all part of that, aren't we? We work. And we either own the machine or we are a cog in the machine. We're one or the other. So it's what it is. Communism does work. If you go to Cuba, you'll see it working. But I don't advocate it. I think I'm very much down the middle. I'm a centrist. I'm neither left nor right. There are parts in all directions, but it's got to be down the centre for me. I can't be going in either direction, extremely to the left or extremely to the right, or the north or the south. But I think it's important to just be open-minded to how these things work. I always like to think, that there's somebody behind everything, and what's there. Even charities, some of the biggest charities on the planet, most of their money goes into running the charity. That's salaries. That's board level salaries. And then a percentage of what they generate goes to the good causes. So, I always look very carefully at charities before I donate. You kind of want to know that a lot of the people involved in that charity are volunteers. they're giving their time to the charity, that the majority of the money that is made goes towards the good cause. And of course, there has to be some put aside for administration and marketing. But ultimately, you don't want to be doing the reverse. And you can find a lot of this stuff out. There are even websites that will give you this information. It's worth having a check. I mean, I found out, for example, at the weekend, you guys will have seen, if you watch any of the lesser channels on TV, you'll see a lot of charity ads. And they usually go along the lines of, Rover was left on his own by his owners all day and not fed. And when we came across Rover, he was in such a bad state and his hair had fallen out. Please give £5 a month to Rover and his friends. And the reason for that is they discovered in marketing, if you focus on an individual rather than an overall cause, so, Gupta can't afford to go to school in Bangladesh. For £2.50 a month, you can give Gupta an education. If you focus on an individual, people give much more to the charity. Whereas when they go, the aim of the charity is to increase the overall attendance of education in some of the poorer states in India, people don't care. But when you say it's for Gupta, they give money. So, there's this psychological stuff. You just have to kind of be aware of what's going on. We only have one McDonald's in my town, says Rockmouth, but we have many Burger King and Max. Oh, right, Max. I'm not familiar with Max. You see over here, Rockmouth, in the UK, the burger as a phenomenon exploded within the last 15 to 20 years. So what you now have in the UK is predominantly restaurant chains all over the country. They've kind of pushed out the smaller restaurants that you used to get. And those chains make money by selling the cheapest possible food. The cheapest possible food is Italian food, mainly, because pasta costs nothing, right? Pizza's just dough with some leftover tomatoes and a bit of cheese. And they're $20, £20 a pizza. And burgers, because again, you're talking about a sandwich with a bit of meat in it. All sorts going on in that meat as well. And then a half a potato chopped into fries with a bit of lettuce if you're lucky. Incredibly cheap ingredients with next to no cooking expertise needed, so you don't need expensive stuff either. And they're banging it out at $20. I mean, the cost of eating out in the UK has gone through the roof. And so it's just a shame how everything gets boiled down to cheap. And then very quickly it just becomes what you expect. Nobody questions it anymore. They're quite happy to just go and have the basics. Yep, Five Guys is a scam, says Jem. Yeah, I mean, all of these are, aren't they? I mean, Five Guys is the one that uses peanut oil, isn't it? Is that Five Guys? Is it Five Guys? I know we can't, my daughter has peanut allergies, so I know there's one of them that we have to be careful of. But, wherever you go. So we went out for a meal today, lunch meal. And I had Coronation chicken in a baguette because I can't be bothered with burgers and stuff. I'll just have a sandwich. And it's... But everywhere you look, they're having burgers. It's just become the food in the UK. It's just what everybody has. They go out now. I'll have a burger. What are you going to have? Oh, spend hours looking at the menu. All sorts of nice stuff. Oh, yeah, I'll have the burger with cheese and tartar sauce and pickles, please. That's just how it is. Or pasta. Either way, they're cheap as anything. Five Guys tastes good, but it's not £15 good for a fast food meal. They're so expensive now. Where we went today, which was a seaside restaurant, nothing out of the ordinary, £17 for fish and chips, Jem. And it was like, my baguette was £9. For £9, I could have had a decent meal a couple of years ago. Five Guys, says Ray. They have peanuts everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think they do use peanut oil. Yeah, she has a problem with peanuts and little hazelnuts, I think, and also another thing called benzoate, which it turns out is pretty much in everything. There's so little that she can eat. Jem, get those £1.50 sausage rolls from Greg's. I have to say they are nice. My youngest loves those Greg's sausage rolls. So my wife buys the frozen Greg's sausage rolls. You can get them in supermarkets, but they are nice. The vegan. Oh, I tell you what, talk about vegan. So the wife had a thing today that it's all new to me. She had fish and chips, but it was vegan fish and chips. And it was with a thing called a banana blossom. And I'm like, what? I was expecting a banana or something. This thing came in, batter, like a fish and chips. This tasted like fish, and it had the look of fish. I was blown away. I believe it's the husk around a banana or something. I don't know, or around the banana bark or something. But it was just like fish. I couldn't believe it. And she had vegan tartar sauce, which she didn't want. But it was very nice. I had it with a fat chip. Oh dear. Guys, you know what? Shall we get over to the wheel and see which one of you fantastic folk are going to win a prize today? Shall we do that? The vegan rolls are nice too. What do they like sausage rolls, but with a sort of vegan-y filling, I guess. Jem says, when I was a student in secondary school, we used to get chicken and chips with a drink for £1. Right? I mean, when I was at school, secondary school, they used to do this. It was a massive pasty, but it was flat as anything. So it was hardly any filling, and it was mainly gravy. I mean, it was disgusting, but I loved it. And you could literally, you're right, you could get a pasty and chips for pennies. Not anymore. Cloudbusters Epic Games, free games, Breathage is on GFN. Yes, I spotted that, Cloudbusters. And funnily enough, it's also in the wheel as well. I spotted, you can get it for free on Epic Games, but you may not have an Epic Games, but I do have the code for it as well. Talking of which, let's get ourselves over to the Wheel of Fortune. Now, hopefully this is all working. See, I'm missing my cutout on my video and everything. And now it says The Last of Us. Well, that's all gone. Oh, it's all over the place. It will work. It's all that matters. It's all that matters. So let me get the entrance up first. We'll get this out of the way. Oh, I'm so pleased that I got back. I didn't think I was going to get back for a couple of hours after the show. So very, very pleased that it was only half an hour late. It could have been a lot worse. Oops. Right, here we go. I'm going to spin this wheel. We'll get it out of the way. We've got 68 people. That's not bad, is it? 68 members. That's incredible. Here we go. Oops, salami. 20 pence in Brighton. Wow. Yeah, well, in my little town of Exeter, Jem, if I want to go into my town from where I live, which is only about 2.5, 3 miles, it costs me £5. What? It's terrible. All right, here we go. We're slowing up. Where are we going to go? Where are we going? Are we going past Blue Flu Flower? You won the other day. Neil's there, look. Charlie Mouse. Bexy Bob. Charlie Mouse won the Jedi's game on Xbox the other day. Bexy Bob. Is it going to stop on Bexy Bob or Alex? It's going to be Alex, I believe. Yay, Alex. Alex, baby. Okay, well done, Alex. Good stuff, my friend. Right, let's go over to the games. And we'll see what game. Now, here's the thing. This is the worst thing that happened in me losing all my stuff. I had a massive spreadsheet with all these 100 games with all the codes. It's gone. So this is the only record I have now of the games. And when whoever wins, I've got to go and get the code from wherever I bought it and hope I can find it. Right, here we go. Never mind. First world problems. Let's give it a spin. Oh, that's nice. It's a nice bit of music. 7, how are you? And Gizmo Duck, I didn't see you pop in there. How are you, my friend? How is Ostrich? Ostrich. Right, we're slowing up. No, I think I emptied it, Jem. Honestly, it was the most idiotic thing I've ever done. But you're right, it should be in there, but it wasn't. Oddworld Munches Odyssey. Woohoo! Awesome. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's all sparkly as well. Brilliant. Well done, Alex. That's great. So I will try and get hold of Alex. I have tried in the past and he hasn't responded. So I will try again and see if I can get him back. Bless him. But yes, I hear you about the old bin. I even got in touch with my IT director and said, "No, help me." And he said, same thing. Is it not in your bin? No. I think I got rid of it everywhere. So, what an absolute numpty. I mean, it does actually say, you're right, it actually says items in them been deleted forever after 30 days, unless you delete them yourself. I was trying to save space. It now says I've got 981 megs of 100 gigs. Because the thing is, I went with Asus Web Storage, right? It's a deal and a half. It's a terabyte of storage for about $15 a year. And it has the same kind of local drive, so you can see the files in your file system and move them around and see them on a mobile, everything. It's really good. It's just a good idea when you do move them across. You don't delete them for 30 days until you've checked that everything made it over. Oh, man. I just thought, wow, it could have been worse. It could have been my business because we use Google Drive for all our company stuff as well. All those years of contracts and stuff. What an absolute muppet. Hey ho. Grats. You what, mate? I know. I'm an absolute numpty. I know. It's just, what an idiot. That's how it goes. But there you go. And, yeah, they don't back it up anywhere else. Not unless you have a corporate account, which I do with my main business, but not with this little Rokk Show thing. Just the way it goes. Was this a personal Google Drive with G Suite? Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, with G Suite we use for our business, and that's absolutely happens, but not with a private one. This is just my little Rokk Show account, which I just used. To be fair, in the main, it was just show notes and stuff, which is not an issue. I can knock them together in 2 minutes. I did it again. Sorry, Crystal. But it's the codes. That's the worst thing. I didn't have a backup of that, so I'm not going to go and grab them all again. I'll just, as somebody wins a game, I'll just go and get the code. So it might take a few minutes longer than it used to. I know where they all are, but just a bit of a pain. It's a bit of a pain. Actually, some of them I don't, thinking about it, because some of those codes I won in giveaways myself. So they're probably gone because I wouldn't remember where I won them. I like Primo. I won a couple with Primo Ionic. And he probably doesn't have the codes anymore. Why would he want to keep hold of them? Check your Twitter. I sent a link to... Really? Oh, wow. I'll have a look. Jem, I'll be amazed, mate, if you were able to... By the way, before I forget, Dorrigan, who popped in a little bit a while ago in the show, has a fantastic video on his channel all about the whole CMA thing. I absolutely urge you to watch it. He's actually gone over the entire document, not just the headlines like me, although I was quite pleased that my thoughts are echoed by Dorrigan. But check out his actual video. It's brilliant. It's heartfelt, and he's got some great background information on how when he was involved with the CMA as well, over a kind of a tech takeover thing. It's really, really good. I'm hoping, and we'll see how he is, because I'm hoping, I don't whisper, that he can be on Players on Thursday, but I haven't checked it with him yet. Brilliant. Yeah, go and check it out, Cowboy. It's really good. It's really good if you like me, if like me, you kind of have an understanding of it, but not too sure whether the whole CMA thing is a good or a bad thing. Check out Dorrigan's video because he nails it. It's absolutely brilliant. No, absolutely, my friend. You deserve it. It's quality piece, quality work. Right, what's that? Let's have a look at this. Jem says. No. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Click that goose into. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Well, yeah, I'll definitely do that. Thank you, my friend. Much, much appreciated. That's not the first time Jem's come to my rescue, ladies and gentlemen. He's an absolute gem, is Jem. Right, on that note, I think we're going to call it a day. Sorry it was a little bit later today, but all things we're back to normal tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is the Rokk Show with my good friend Ray. I think David's going to join us. I haven't spoken to Dave for a couple of days, but hopefully that will be the same as last Tuesday. And we may even have a guest. A guest would be quite nice as well. So watch out for that. We'll have our usual fun. Our fun and banter. Looking forward to it. It's always one of the highlights of my week. It really is. Such good fun. Right, you lovely folk. I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Oh, Jem says, if you're certain that your files were recently emptied and you are the owner of the files, we can attempt to recover them. Ooh. Well, yeah, it was literally about 48 hours ago, Jem. So that would be cool. I actually only really want that... that file with the codes in. The rest of it, I've got all the media files and everything. I just need to pull the right ones in. But it was just literally that one file, which if that's the only one they can recover, that would be great. Thank you for that, my friend. I'm going to go and do that straight after the show. Much appreciated. Thank you. See you guys. Take care, says Ryan. Reaver the Beaver. Thank you, my friend, as always. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm about to send you to a video. I just hope it's the right one. If there's nothing there, you know why. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care. Have a fantastic Monday. See you Tuesday.